Hello, how are you today? I am having a come as you are party. I haven't been to the gym yet, no makeup on, just brush my teeth, brush my hair, put a shirt on so that I'm not in my pajamas, but I'm in my pajama bottoms because I wanted to talk about something. And the little video that I want to have put out today is going to be called A Way Back Out of Doing Things Perfectly. Usually I do a way back into, blah, 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 blah. But today I'm going to do a way back out of doing everything perfectly. And so in my life, I came up with this idea that if I was going to do anything at all, I had to do it perfectly. And, I don't want to go into how that, but anyway, it was just a guiding star, a guiding light, a guiding idea that I developed along the path of my life. And so it has created the one called Christine Case that I know now, and created the person who found ingenious and creative ways to teach shapes, colors, numbers, how to get along with kids for most of my whole life, and I'm 63. And so that's a lot of years to keep safe by teaching familiar things and just finding creative spins on it, But that's kind of what happens when we have a guiding philosophy and we don't dare to do anything that isn't perfect. Now, and I want to qualify that. I'm not talking about going out and robbing a bank, because most people who have any kind of religious background or spiritual, and most people, they really don't want to go out and do things that cause trouble for everybody. They just intuitively know to respect people's boundaries and to be nice to people and to be courteous, stuff like that. So I'm not talking about that, going out and getting in trouble or doing things wrong. But I'm talking about the idea of limiting yourself because of your limiting beliefs. But anyway, so today something funny happened. So my husband, as you know, many of you know, Jeff and I have been married for 40 years. And Jeff has been busy doing other things, so he hasn't been too much involved in Facebook. And so, because when he comes home, he didn't want to learn something like that. But lately he's thought, okay, he got a new picture taken of himself. And so he put, a new picture out there, and he started adding friends. Well, I know this person and that person, and they know that person. And then he started, and he also has a different phone than I do. I have an iPhone, he has an Android. So it makes it hard for me to kind of show him ideas when our phones are sometimes quite different. And anyway, so he starts adding people. And then this morning, he noticed, some old friends say, great picture, or good to see you, I haven't seen you in a long time. He's added some old friends. And then he has these two ladies that he doesn't know that say, nice picture, And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Do you know these two ladies? He said, no, I don't know. And I go, okay. And then I said, let's look at your profile, because what I do is before I add someone, I'll look at their profile and see, if it's someone I want to add. And so I looked at Jeff's profile, and it just has, he went to school, about school and families and family, but doesn't have anything about his marital relationship. And I said, Jeff, you don't have on here that you're married, because, he doesn't ever use Facebook. So I said, so let's see if we can figure out how to add this. And so it was a little different than my phone. It was more challenging. So finally we figured out how to add that he was married. And so later on today, I get on my phone a post that tells me on my feed, that tells me that Jeff Case got married today. And then I get someone saying to me, who is this? You have a sister wife. And so for people who don't have the background of being the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in the history in the past, a long time ago, those poor women and those poor people that, went through this idea of several wives, it's kind of a running joke, right? Oh, you got another wife there, you know. So someone who knows me said, oh, you got a sister wife now, you know. And so I just laughed and laughed. You know, sometimes we just have to laugh more and not take ourselves so seriously. Honestly, we take ourselves way too seriously. And so I just had to laugh and laugh. And then it really brought up in my mind how much I limited myself, and still do, by thinking, oh, I don't dare to do that. I won't do a good job at that. I don't dare to say that. I won't do a good job at that. I won't do it right. I won't do it perfect. And for me, not doing anything at all unless I can do it perfectly has kept me in a very safe little spot of teaching preschool, very creative ways, my whole life. And it's been my journey, and I've been grateful, and I've loved the little kids I've taught. But I've also realized that our thoughts limit us powerfully, or they can expand us, or they can help us to grow. And I wouldn't change the past that I've been through, because I love the person that I am, imperfectly perfect that I am, and imperfectly perfect that you are, right? So let's have fun and let's laugh. And I can remember another thing that happened. So I taught preschool when my kids were growing up in our first home that was by Reams, almost to Magna, in our first little area. And I taught preschool, and I loved working with the kids and, you know, growing and teaching preschool back then. And I could be home and be with my kids. And I remember Jeff brought home a new computer. So we've been married 40 years. It was a long time ago. And it was when computers were new. And he brought this home and he said, Christine. And I was like, no, I don't want to look at it. And so he was typing on it and figuring, you know, and doing the computer. And after a little bit, he said, Christine, come and see. No, I don't want to look at it. He said, it'll really be easy, because I was sending home papers once a month to the parents, letting them know what their children were going to be learning. And I was typing it on a typewriter. And for all of you that don't know, when you type on a typewriter and you make a mistake, you have to backspace, and you either have to have a way, and then you have to have a way to erase. And there was different ways you could do that, the mistake that you made. So getting a paper ready and typing it for the parents was a big deal. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. And yet Jeff had to literally like pull me in front of this computer. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. And some of you younger people might just really think this is silly and really, really laugh about this. They grew up with technology, right? But when you grow up with the main idea that I only want to do things perfectly, and then in your life you start to say, well, I'm not good with science, I'm not good with math, I couldn't sew very well on that sewing machine that I learned on, because the sewing machine was break all the time. So it's very frustrating to learn how to sew in a sewing machine that keeps breaking on you. So that's kind of like technology, like figuring out how to make this sewing machine work. And you start saying, wow, I had to do this, and this, and this, and this, wow. And then pretty soon, your opportunities of what you can do, what you think you can do in your life gets pretty shrunken. If you have the idea that I have to always look good, I have to look good and do things perfectly. And anyway, so finally he sat down and he showed me, and I was like, oh, wow, this isn't that hard. I can do it, right? So this is just an encouragement for each of us to look at our life and to be gracious with each other, to realize none of us have been to this path before. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all trying to figure out how to get along, how to speak our truth without being offending everyone, but also not being too worried about offending everyone, because if you're worried all the time about that, then you'll never say anything, and then guess who gets to be the victim? You do. So there's all of these aspects of life that we're all figuring it out, and we're all each other's clinical material, right? What else can we do? So this is just a little idea. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it insightful to maybe look at your life and say, you know, where is it that I can have a little more fun? Where is it that I can be a little more brave, to be vulnerable? Whatever it is, find something that you can do that's a little more brave, something that you wouldn't normally do, and then pat yourself on the back. Give yourself, you know, your own little, be your own best friend. Anyway, so today, signing off with a way back out of doing everything perfectly. From Imperfectly Perfect, Christine Case. Have a great day, all you imperfectly perfect people. See you later. Bye.